a camera because I have the VR. Sometimes I'll broadcast my live video, but I'm just doing it all audio right now. So go ahead and refresh it real quick and then go back into trending. You should see it. I'm in the hangar right now.
Yeah, I gotta give it another minute, because...
I'm actually going to check. I don't even remember what engines I used for the first stage. I used the Mastodon, yep. And what did I use for the second stage? I think I used Mastodons also. No, I used Skiffs for my second stage. But I only have 4 of them in there. I could probably fit... Nah, I can't fit 5. Not without scraping the edge of the skirt. Alright, it should be in there now under trending.
It's not, but, Wait, why didn't you just start a share play?
I don't think you can share play in this game.
Yeah, you can. You can share play every game.
Oh, well.
I'm pretty sure the only ones that, you can't share play are VR ones, unless they have a VR, helmet thing, too.
Alright, hold on. I'm going to go out of the game and just see if my broadcast is on there. Going to trending. Yeah, it's there. I'm looking at it right now. All right, go out of that trending and go. I don't know. Go through your menu to a different game and wait about 2 seconds, then come back to it and go into trending, because it's there. I'm looking at it right now. It'll say "To Eve and Back Live" by Richard Crandall. That's not my actual name, but that's just the name of a friend I used to have in high school. Yeah. Do you see it now? Okay. All right. Good. Let me get out of this crap. Go back to the game.
A command pod that looks really realistic.
All right. Do you see it?
The...
Go ahead.
I can't see it yet, but, the more realistic version of the, Mark III command pod is the old one. You do know how you can get the old parts, right?
Oh, I have all the old parts are still there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, I mean, the old textures and things.
Oh, I don't know. There is a cheat in the game where you can put yourself in an orbit. It's just up, up, down, down, left, right when you're in the pause menu.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and that's a good way to test, like for my Eve lander and stuff like that. Instead of having to fly it all the way to Eve and find out it doesn't work, it's a lot better to do it. Just pop yourself in an orbit when you start the game.
Yeah, if you go into advanced mode and then go into like the diameter, the different diameter parts, you can get the old textures and everything.
Okay, I'm broadcasting. You still not seeing me?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
Oh, okay. You see me moving around, showing you stuff?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and there's my fairing. I'm kind of separating it. And you should be able to see the LEM, and you see the gold stuff.
Yeah, I already saw it.
All right, see how it's a little bit exaggerated as far as size?
Yeah.
It's still got
They
8
didn't
sides and
actually
everything.
use the the service module that came in the DLC.
Well, I didn't use the regular service module. I have the service bay doors here that I'm opening.
Yeah.
And all I did there is put those little inner tube fuel tanks to have a little bit extra fuel, some batteries, and my monopropellant. That's more than enough. Trust me, I've used this on more things than just going to the MUN. But
oh yeah.
All right, let me make sure I got the right characters in here. Yeah, I got no astronauts, but that's fine. I can go to the... Where the hell is the option to go to the available crew? Oh, there it is. Change suit, remove Kerbal from vessel, astronaut complex, square. Okay. I just need one more pilot, doesn't matter who, and we'll get an engineer. All right, good. Leave astronaut complex. Put both of these guys in here. All right, I got a full crew, 2 pilots. I use an engineer. You could use a scientist. Doesn't matter who the third guy is. All right.
The only time when it really matters is when you're in science and career mode.
Yeah, and I don't bother with that too much. It gets kind of when you start getting almost all the tech tree unlocked. I haven't unlocked everything, but when you start getting to like there's only like 3 or 4 things left on every tech, it's just like it's boring at that point. Every now and then I go in there because I'm not.
Mode.
It's funny I got all the trophies, but I don't use the career mode that often.
Career mode, it really is not good because of the contracts. They're so strict.
All right, you should see me on the launch pad.
It's still loading for me.
Okay. Let me know when you see the launch pad.
I see the launch pad.
Okay. All right. It sounds like you're about 7 or 8 seconds behind me. I'm going to go ahead and launch. Like I told you, I think I'm using the... let me double check. Yeah, I'm using the Mastodon, so...
Yeah.
I got 5 of those down there. I got full throttle. The SAS is on. I already aimed it so I don't have to do a rotation. Basically, the window of my cockpit.
You don't have to do the roll program.
Yeah. I just facing it toward 90 degrees inherently. All right, launching, and she gets going right off the bat. So. And you can see my little Ceplatron guys out there. I could have recessed them into the superstructure a little bit more so they're not hanging out there, but they don't cause any drag or anything, so I'm not worried about them.
Well, they don't actually have any drag things to them.
I don't even think the what do you call it? The RCS thrusters have drag either.
I think the Verners do.
The Veneers do, yeah. All right, pitching over a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my tower. I have it set in my staging, so there goes my tower. I'm about 2,600 meters up. Yeah, I am excited to see the next one that comes out. I hope it runs on PS4. I'm not sure if I want to...
it's going to run on PS4 and PS5.
Yeah, well, PS5 is obviously going to run it a lot better, but...
Yeah, but...
They've done so many bug fixes and a lot of crap to this, because even though I'm not going to say that the graphics are bad, but I mean, compared to a lot of other games that I play, I mean, the graphics are like from 15 years ago.
The graphics aren't the best, but they're definitely better than other games.
Yeah, and because of what the game does, it's more of a...
It's explainable. They weren't really thinking about the graphics. They were like, alright, so we're making like this really massive game.
Yeah.
That has an entire fucking solar system.
Yep.
And it has all that timing and
if you watch all the Matt Lowe and Scott Manley videos, I'm sure you have on there, you know, Scott Manley, I think, is an actual structural engineer, and they've had actual astronauts play the game and stuff like that and say, yeah, this is pretty damn close to how it would work in real life.
I watch Matt Lowe, but I don't watch Scott Manley's Kerbal Space Program videos.
He's pretty good. And I guess he just became an American citizen finally. I mean, he's obviously got an English accent, but he was married to an American, and I think he was getting his green card, and they said that he was going to get citizenry, I think, about a year ago, so I think he's a citizen now. Anyhow, you see me pitching over now, about 45 degrees. It's probably a little bit of a delay for you. My main engines are about to run out of fuel and cut off, and my Ceplatrons are going to fire. I'm going to let them cycle through their whole firing, which takes about 5 seconds. And then I'm going to...
Normally, I'm at 45 degrees until 24 kilometers, and then I start pitching over.
Alright, there's my separators. Make sure you never separate your skirt before those Ceplatrons are done with their fuel, otherwise it'll try to stick to your aircraft. Alright, firing my 4 engines there to get me a circular mission. Pitching over a bit. Alright, I'm going to drop the skirt now. It looks just like the real thing dropping behind it. You should be seeing it here in a second.
Skirt separation. Oh, dude, that looks so beautiful.
Doesn't it? Alright.
Oh, one thing that I would do is I turn on the maneuver node mode at the bottom, which is the purple thing, and
Yeah,
it tells you when your apoapsis and everything is. Like I fly with that.
yeah, this right here is what you're talking about. I sometimes I fly with that, sometimes I don't. It doesn't matter. I just look at the map because it's still.
Well, the map still works. It's just it's better if you do that, because then you don't have to actually. Because it's like, if you have to stage, you can stage while you're
Yeah,
because you
that's
can't
true.
stage
You
while
got
you're
a
on the map.
legitimate explanation for it, and I agree with you. It's just I'm used to doing it this way. It's the way I did it when I started playing before I knew what even a maneuver node was or how it worked. Because that was a learning curve too. When I first learning how to use a maneuver node, I was like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah, I
But
remember
once you
when I was
figure it
using
out,
it.
it's like, okay. And it's like, wow,
Uh,
this is pretty
I remember
useful.
always watching those Matt Lown videos and not knowing what the bar at the side of the nav ball was
Mm-hmm.
at all, and then all of a sudden I found it, and then I was like, oh.
All right, let's see what we got going on here. 67. I'm going to start pitching over because I'm also very familiar with the craft I build. So I know what they're going to do. I've flown them so many freaking times. Like this Saturn V is. I'm actually going to have fuel left over once I do hit an orbit in this thing.
Wow.
But I'm just going to drop it anyhow because I got plenty of fuel in my B booster is the one engine that I actually took fuel out of to lessen the weight and also make it so it just about, I don't want to say barely gets to the mun because there's still enough fuel to keep going, but it's pretty much right there. And then of course
Yeah.
I'd separate, dock with my LEM, and extract it and all that happy horse shit. But hold on. All right, we're at 69. I'm going to pitch up a bit. There we go. She's starting to want to go. Yeah, I do the launch into orbit. There's a lot of people actually use maneuver nodes to get into orbit.
I don't understand how though. Like,
Well,
I don't understand.
you can't use a maneuver node while you're sitting on a launch pad. You have to actually be in motion. So once you
Oh
start
yeah, I
moving,
know.
yeah,
I just don't understand how people need a maneuver node to get
I
into
don't
orbit.
think you need them. I
Just point prograde. If your TWR is over a 1.2, you can do it at 12.
yeah. All right. I think that's about 70. I'm gonna start pitching. I just use kind of common sense. Right now, I know that she's at 70. She's continuing to go up. I'm just following with my cursor. You can see that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cut thrust right there. I'm still highest. I might be high enough on this side. Let me see what the altitude is on my periapsis is 57 kilometers. And apoapsis is 82. So I'm pretty good. Now, in real life, they would have separated from this right by now, and they would have used a B booster to get it more circularized. If you look at here, you can see I still have plenty of fuel left in this, so I'm just going to use this. Fast forward to my apoapsis. Go a little bit faster than that. All right, getting there. Da 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 da. That's close enough. And now I will set it to automatically go toward prograde. It'll take it a moment to rotate. Sometimes you give it a little burst of thrust from the main engines, it spins faster. Changes your trajectory slightly, but not... Yeah, there I am. But now she's spinning faster. Try to keep that apoapsis marker a little bit in front of me.
The burst with the thrust changes your direction faster because of gimbal.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But it also throws you off your alignment plane if you're facing the wrong way.
Like
that's why you want to just use just a couple of short bursts. All right, good.
That's why I put reaction wheels in my LEM and my CSM.
Yeah, I do have reaction wheel. I mean, you inherently have there is a reaction wheel in the crew cabin.
Well, yeah, but it's fairly weak.
Yeah, but I did put a tiny little reaction wheel in my lunar module because I don't want to burn up all my monopropellant trying to orient it when it's trying to land.
Yeah.
So I threw a battery on there.
Oh, dude. Earlier, I got the most circular orbit that I was probably ever gonna get. It was 37 meters off from perfectly circular.
That's pretty damn close.
And that's probably the ever that I'm ever gonna get.
And you see what I'm trying to do here? I just cut my time acceleration. I'm at the edge of the planet. Still got a little bit more to go. But I'm going to let the ship itself, it takes a few seconds for it to rotate to prograde. So by the time it gets to prograde, I should be pretty close to be seeing the moon come up over the horizon. And you literally could start, the second it comes over the horizon, you could thrust right away. I usually wait till I see the whole circle. And then I thrust. Now there is a little glitchiness to the... I don't know why, but the maneuver nodes and what it's showing you once you get real close to the surface of the moon, when you get your flight path there, it starts flickering in and out.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I never saw that before until they did the last 2 updates ago.
Yeah, the 1.10 update made it start doing that.
Yeah, it never did that before. But it only does it for the moon, as far as I can tell. Which is fine.
It does it when you're at the it does it for planets, but that's only when if you just barely get into their gravity well.
Yeah. Maybe it's trying to be more accurate, but I mean, I get real close. It's not an issue unless I get my altitude. Like if I fire right now, where I'm just going around the planet, right? And the moon starts coming up over the horizon, I fire toward it, and then I zoom in on the moon to see what my path is. If I get that path, and I usually like to keep it around 35,000 kilometers or 35,000 meters above, when I get that close, that's when it starts glitching. If I stay like 50,000 meters above, it's fine. But when I get real close, that's when it starts glitching out.
Oh, dude, when I get an orbit, I normally put my my orbit at 15 kilometers.
Oh, there comes the moon over the horizon. Real quick, you'll see my engines. They are slightly recessed, so I could put that Cephalotron there. And there it is, thrusting all 4 engines. In real life, there was 5. Matter of fact, in real life, we don't even use this, so I'm going to separate it and use my B booster.
I turned off all the sound for the game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I still hear doom, ba-da-dum, ba-dum.
Yeah, you got the space music.
Yeah. You know, me being a musician and all, one thing I think that it could do with this is because I play it so many times is maybe come up with a few options in the audio file so you don't hear the same friggin' thing all the time.
Well, there are a few of them. It's just which one you get is different all the time.
Every
there's
time
like
you get
4
above
of them.
70,000 kilometers or 70,000 meters above the planet, it goes into space mode, and you get the same thing.
Yeah, there's like normally right after you get into space, it plays the same one, but it's like over time. When you get into a new sphere of influence, it'll play a different one.
Okay, here I am. Now watch, you see everything looks fine, but when I get it within about 35 kilometers, it'll start to glitch out. Oh, I'm going to slow down.
Oh,
See,
dude, I
it
know
just glitched
exactly
out.
what you're talking about.
Yep, it just glitched out. You can't see it, but I know I'm within there somewhere. It should be there, but it's not. I'm not going to worry about it because I got exceptional amount of fuel. So what we're going to do is assume that we're close enough. I'm just going to fast forward. See, it starts glitching in, and you can see it flickering if you're watching my video. All right. I'm not worried about it. What I usually do is I do my transposition and docking about halfway between Kerbin and the moon. I'm going to do it here. Now I have it set up to point toward prograde. Sometimes that's pointing toward the sun, sometimes it ain't. And it looks like in this case it is. Or close enough. I'm going to let it do its thing. The only reason I like to point toward the sun is when I separate and do the docking maneuver, I like to see what I'm docking with. I don't want it to be in the dark.
It's easier.
Yeah, and actually you don't want to be dead on because otherwise your command module will cast a shadow over it, so you want it to be on a slight angle. This is good enough.
Yeah, but it's just enough to see.
All right, you can see what I look like right now, correct? Just sitting there with my Saturn V booth.
What I can see is I can see you like right about to separate.
All right, I'm getting ready to separate. Look at how much fuel I have left in my B booster. It's just a little smidgen
oh my God,
left.
Dude, you just barely put it
I set it up that way. There's plenty of room to put more fuel in that thing. I just set it up this way. Now I'm going to separate my fairing, and you're going to see the fairing was actually going around a tube.
Yeah, I saw it when you were in the VA.
Okay. All right, I'm separating now. As a matter of fact, before I separate, I'm going to turn off my... I'm just going to go stability assist is just going to manual because sometimes if it ain't, shit will start turning on its own. All right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn on the RCS. Zoom in a bit. I'm going to thrust forward. And I think I'll just pull back on a stick and do a rotation that way, but I do have to...
Oh, you know about the clamshell deploy, right?
What is that?
So you know how the fairings kind of just explode?
Yeah.
With clamshell deploy, it makes it all just one big piece, and then if you change how many sides it has, it'll change how many pieces there are.
Okay.
So it's like, what would happen is you know how in real life rockets have their deploy and it goes one side to in two sides and they just go from the side of each other?
Yeah.
You can do that with clamshell.
Oh, okay.
It pretty much opens like a clam, like it's called.
I gotcha. I might mess around with that to make it a little bit more realistic, but I think this is pretty damn close. I mean,
yeah, with the four, I'm pretty sure that has like 3 sides on it.
How does it look to you right now? It looks like I got a good lineup.
If you double click on the docking port, it sets it as its target.
I know, I don't bother with all that crap. There's a magnet in there that sucks you in anyhow once you get close enough, as long as you're pretty close.
Yeah, but it's like it only does that if you're like the only time when that's actually useful is when you're completely lined up. Otherwise, it'll like spin you around.
Well, I've done this enough times. You can see how well I'm coming in. I'm pretty good at this. You just gotta get your orientation right. I don't even use docking mode on the thing because it doesn't work.
I don't
even know why they have it.
Docking mode is for.
Yeah, because it has that little like TV screen on there, which doesn't seem to do anything.
There's a TV screen?
It looks like a TV screen. I don't know what you call it. All right.
That would be really cool if they did it like in real life.
All right, right now you should see me docked.
You're like a few meters away from docking.
Yeah. Now, one of the cool things I did is I shut off the RCS thrusters on my LEM so they don't start thrusting when I pull this guy out of here. Going through my staging mode and separating from the B booster, thrusting backwards to extract the LEM. Now, one thing I do here, instead of using the hotkey to make all my landing lays extend, I extend them manually. The reason I do that is because inside the LEM there is a rover, and when you hit the extend hotkey, it makes the rover's wheels want to extend with the landing gear of the LEM. So I could have set up a, what do you call it, an action group for it. This is just easier. It's not that big of a deal.
You do know there's enough fuel to get into, there's like, almost 1,000 meters a second worth of fuel just in the, LEM by itself, and you didn't have to add the fuel tanks, right?
I don't know. This is what I added.
Yeah, like the upper stage has enough fuel to get,
oh yeah, the upper stage is all by itself. When I get off the planet, in real life, the, what do you call it? The LEM that they have in the game, like we were talking about earlier,
yeah,
that LEM all launches together. In real life, this top part here that I'm going to hit with this top part.
Oh wait, the entire thing launches together?
Yeah, in the game it does, but I made it so these things separate.
Oh,
because that's what really happened in real life.
Well, yeah, they planned for that.
Yeah. But in the game, they all are one craft. The default version of the Saturn V, they're all one craft.
And I know. I was kind of disappointed when I saw that.
And it only had 2 stages. Now you can see this is exaggerated slightly. And when I say slightly, it's really just slightly. It's not that much bigger than the real one.
It's just slightly altered.
Yeah. And I recessed the engine in there because you can almost see the bottom of the orange right there where I'm pointing my cursor.
Yeah.
Because I used a bunch of those little orange panels, or whatever you want to call them, gold panels. And you can see between stuff that you can see some of the fuel tanks in between. But right there where you see that circle on the side, that's just a docking ring that's holding my oh, hold on. I didn't mean to get that there. Well, anyhow, inside there, that's where the rover's at. And in real life, that's exactly where it launched out. I actually looked this shit up online just to get it as close as I could. All right, anyhow, to make this short because it is New Year's and everyone wants to get out of here, let's just go ahead and get into the orbit of the moon. I got plenty of fuel left over to do whatever orbital maneuvers I need to do. I don't go too fast, but I'm not going to sit there. You see, you still can't see my... Oh, there it is. It's flashing in and out. Now it's there. Okay, there we go. Make life easy for myself. Because I've flown this many times, I do know that my next staging event, I want to be the main engine back here, which is, for some reason, I ended up having it up here in the stage, so I gotta bring it down here. Alright. Or I can light it up manually, but whatever. And face it retrograde. I'm gonna turn off my RCS because there's so much less weight. The RCS thruster, or the reaction control or reaction wheels can pretty much take care of anything I have to do as far as rotating. I don't want to waste all my RCS fuel. All right, I'll fire it up. I use my cursor there just to watch my altitude slowly lower. get to about, or that's close enough. 35 is good. Now these lunar or Munner things I've done so many times, I got this down to a science.
Well, it's like, you know how everyone calls it the Mun?
Well, that's what it's spelled out as, but it's the moon.
Well, people calls it, yeah, well, the thing is, it's actually called the moon because if you look on the title, or the title screen or whatever you want to call it, it says Mun or Bust, but because of the two dots at the top, in German, that's Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that U, it makes
But
it a German
even
U,
if it
which
wasn't
makes
because of that, a lot of times I'll call Duna Mars. You know, it's just because that's what it represents.
Yeah, I just
Same
refer
thing
to
with
it as
Eve. Eve is Venus. You know.
yeah.
Jewel is Jupiter.
Yeah, I always refer them to.
I wish they had a
real-life
Saturn.
counterparts.
I wish there was a Saturn
Dude,
out there.
Saturn's gonna be in the next game.
Well, that'd be cool. Or a version of
Dude,
Saturn.
Well, it's
Like you
they're
can't you
adding
can't
a
orbit.
ringed planet.
Okay, I believe it. But you know, in real life, the rings are a bunch of ice chunks and everything floating. Or so I guess you can't get into an equatorial orbit there because you'd be slamming into a bunch of ice chunks. So it would make it a difficult place to land.
Well, I don't even. It's gonna be really hard to get into orbit there in general because everything orbits around the center of our mass.
I know. All right, almost there. I'm gonna start burning before I get there. Good thing about this.
You wanna know what I don't understand?
What?
So you know how the further you are from the object that you're orbiting, the slower you go. Does that mean that you're traveling faster or slower? Because you have to get
relativity.
Faster.
It's relativity.
to
Actually,
get up there.
think about it right now. If you were spinning your bicycle wheel, assuming you have a bicycle, okay? The thing that's closest to the hub of your bicycle is going faster than the thing outside, right?
Well, yeah, I know that. It's just.
But it's not.
So
If you drew a
have to
line
go
if you drew a line from your hub out to the edge of your bicycle wheel, they're going the same speed. It's just that one of them is traveling a shorter distance than the other. The one closest to the center of the hub is traveling a significantly shorter distance. The one further away is traveling a significantly longer distance. Therefore, it appears that its speed is faster, but it really isn't. It's a relativity thing, and it's actually the sign of you thinking, because that means you're probably a smart guy. Because if you think, well, what I mean, if you want to think about it, they're traveling at the same speed. It's just one of them has a shorter distance to cover. So compared to the distance you're covering, it seems like one of them's going faster than the other. The one traveling a bigger distance seems to be going faster because it's keeping up with the one going a shorter distance. If that makes any sense.
That makes a lot more sense.
Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, like I'm just a little bit stupid.
No, the fact that you asked the question means that you're smart. Because it's a legitimate question. The further away you get from the center of your rotation, theoretically you're traveling faster.
Your apparent speed decreases.
Yes, your apparent speed decreases because you have a longer distance to travel. But you're going at the same speed as something.
Because isn't that why, like, if you're driving, things in the distance seem like they're not moving nearly as fast as the things right next to the road?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so big-brained.
There you go. Now, theoretically, I mean, you are traveling faster if you're further out as far as miles per hour if you were referencing anything but what you're orbiting.
Yeah, it's like it's confusing because you have to travel faster to get to that distance, but you travel slower than when you were before because you're far away.
Yep. But in reference to that object that you're orbiting or going around, you're traveling at the same speed. But if you pick any point in space away from the thing that you're orbiting, you are traveling faster than the guy who's close to the planet who's orbiting.
Yeah.
What? So the guy who's real close to let's put it this way. Does it take a lot of delta V to slow yourself down if you're a really high orbit? No, it doesn't, right?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Or it depends if you use the
No, no, no,
orbits
no, no. If
effect.
you're really far away, let's say you're 600 kilometers above a planet, all right? It doesn't take as much to slow you down, right?
Oh
But if
yeah,
you get,
because you're moving slower.
well, you're moving faster, which means that there's not much to correct, all right? But if you're real close to the planet, let's say 60 kilometers, not 600, but 60 kilometers from the thing you're orbiting, you have to use a lot of delta V to slow yourself down. Why? Because you got to slow down a lot, which means that you're going a lot slower. Kind of freaky when you think about it. But when you draw a line out like a spoke from the center wheel of a bicycle that has spokes on it, you're traveling at the same speed around the planet, but you're traveling at different speeds in reference to everything but that planet. So that's just the way it works. And by the way, that's how they gear up transmissions for automobiles, or even if you have a 10-speed bicycle. That's, if you ever noticed, they have those little cogs on there, and the chain will switch to a bigger cog or whatever. That's because it's transferring power and speed to different circumferences, I guess is what you would call it. Did I just blow your mind?
I kind of got lost because I'm not. Like, I got a little bit lost.
All right,
And I'm
don't
not
worry
gonna
about it.
lie.
The main thing is this. If you look at the center of a circle, if you landed on the center of a circle, that thing is almost stationary. You know, it twists and it's going to rotate, but you're not. I mean, you're right there at the center. You're landed on it, right? Now
Yeah.
start drawing a path away from the circle. Draw a circle outside that circle. Well, that's
Yeah. Oh,
the close.
did you see it? Did you
Hold on.
see
I'm
Jupiter
gonna
and
try.
Saturn?
Yeah, I have a telescope in my house. I see it all the time. I didn't see that thing
I
because
just
it
looked
wasn't
outside.
really, it wasn't that big of a deal. They acted like it was going to be the Christmas star. It was like, whatever. All right, I'm going to transfer, Valentina is going to go into the LEM. And I'm going to take, who's the engineer? Danport. I'm going to put him in a LEM too. I want to keep a pilot in the command module. I'm going to select this as, remember, anytime you switch a spacecraft, you always want to turn off whatever crap you had it oriented to. Go back to just your regular SAS. Otherwise, it'll start twisting. All right, control from here. And we're going to undock. All right. Cigarette's going out. All right, I've fired enough away. Engage my SAS. I do have to do a staging fix. Main engine's engaged. Because if you look over here, right where I have my docking port, right there, I put a reaction wheel. So I don't have to use up my RCS fuel. Trying to move around. All right. We're going to go retrograde. Give a little thrust to get away. All right, bad. Where do you want me to land?
Just do wherever.
I'll land in the light stuff. Usually it's flat there.
As long as it's not as long as it's the moon, I really don't care.
Cut thrust there. I'm going to rotate my spacecraft so the windows are facing up. Doesn't really matter. It just helps for orientation in case that. If I was actually aiming for a point, which I've done a bunch of times, it helps me navigate. So if I have to move to the left or right of my orbital plane, I can do that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and switch this to the. It says sea level, but there is no sea, so. Oh, it's about the same. Speed up time a tad. All right, slow it down. Once I hit 19, I'm probably going to want to slow down a bit. (19.7, 19.6, 19.5, 4, 3, 2, 1, thrusting. People are lighting off fireworks around here. What part of the country are you at, bud?
East Coast.
Me too. What part of the East Coast? I mean, you don't have to give me your address or anything, just roughly what state.
Oh, yeah, Connecticut.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm from New York. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18, and I ended up getting stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. When I got out in 2004, I ended up staying here right outside the base, so I'm living in North Carolina right now. So we're under the same time zone at least.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I slowed down way too much.
Normally, like most of my friends are in a different time zone. That's why I said East Coast. That's just a force of habit.
Yeah, I gotcha. You said Connecticut, so I actually lived in Pound Ridge, New York, which is right on the border with Connecticut and New York. As a matter of fact, way back in the day, there was a little, not a battle or anything, but they said,
Rhode Island.
Oh, Rhode Island, yeah.
Rhode Island's pretty cool, though.
You ever watch that show? Oh, what the hell is it? Oh, it isn't Rhode Island. Forget it. You wouldn't even know it. It's not Delaware. What's that small state? It's not Delaware. Yeah, it is Rhode Island. Providence, Rhode Island. There's a TV show called Caught in Providence. It's kind of like a Judge Judy type show where a judge has all these people come in. It's actually quite good. Anyhow. All right. 7,000 feet. Get a nice close-up look at the guy.
All right, dude. When you land, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you when I land. I'm just gonna pop out the rover. It'll only take a second.
So did you like put a hinge on the bottom and
it
opens up?
You see a little hinge right there?
Not yet. I thought I saw.
I'm hovering over it right now. It looks green.
Yeah.
All right, and this round part up here is actually a docking port. That's what I used to connect it. Yeah. You'll see it when I get down there. I'm almost there. Shit, I gotta slow down. You ain't gonna see shit because I just blew up. I was talking to you. I wasn't paying attention.
Up?
Yeah. I was talking to you. I wasn't even checking out my altitude.
Damn.
Oh, well. Anyhow, man, you get the idea. What did you think of that Saturn V?
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, man.
I just saw you.
I wish you could have seen the rover. It's like that's the piece de resistance of the engineering I did with it. But you can watch it some other day.
Talk to you.
All right, man. You have a good day.